We are right here, almost to the finish line, week 51 of 52 in our Old Testament Bible reading for 2020. And we are, these last 3 weeks, working our way through the book of Job, which seems to kind of be stuck on the end of all the other Old Testament readings, but a lot of valuable things to think through. And so let's talk about what is in the chapters for this week. Essentially, in chapters 12 to 27, we are looking at the second and third round of speeches back and forth between the friends of Job who have shown up to comfort him or to counsel him and Job himself. We begin with some of the things that Job is saying through this section. There's a classic classic passage that gets talked about a lot in the context of the book of Job, and that is chapter 13, verse 15. And there's a couple great things about it. On one hand, the sentiment of the verse is at the heart of what Job is feeling in the book. He slays me, I have no hope. But there's actually a translation question, and your translation may very well say basically the opposite. Though he slay me, I will hope in him. You think, well, which one is it? That seems like a big deal. But what's interesting is that both of those actually fit in the book of Job if you think about what Job is experiencing and how he is responding. Someone has said that maybe in the immediate context, if you look around in that chapter, the chapter after it, chapter 14, he says, man is born of woman, few of days and full of trouble. He talks about if a man dies, will he live again? The answer seems to be in Job's mind, no. There is a hopelessness to Job as he experiences not only the tragedy, but how confusing it is what he's going through. God, how are you doing this to me? And how can I talk back to God? How can I challenge him or question him? But there's also maybe an indication in the longer view, in the bigger picture of the book of Job, that Job does still hold on to hope. In this section, he will also say in chapter 19, I know that my Redeemer lives, and at last I will see his face upon the earth. There is something that Job is holding on to. And one of the things that he is holding on to is the opportunity to speak to God, to stand before him and say, will God take my case? Oh, that I'd have my words written in a book, ironically, he says, so that my case could be presented before the Almighty and that could be decided. Job holds out that there is justice in the world, even if he doesn't get it, that God is still just, and that if he would present his case before God, he would have hope to stand. The friends, on the other hand, don't give Job much of a chance. There is a line in chapter 25 from Bildad that is also something like it said in chapter 22 by Eliphaz, but the basic point is this. Can a man be right before God? Can a man who is arguing before God, like they see Job doing, can he really be right? And they in their piousness, which there's something wrong about how they are approaching the world, but they are basically trying to say, Job, give it up, right? You're acting like you're so righteous. You're acting like you haven't done anything wrong. But look, if it's you against God, and we see what God has done to you, we see God's punishment on you, the suffering, all the loss, it's because of your sin. Don't try to stand up before God and act like you're in the right. We know you're wrong, that God is just, and he is justly punishing you. And notice, as these chapters go on, the friends get more and more bold, more and more direct to say, you have sinned. They start to name specific sins that Job has committed, and you wonder, where are they getting this from? And Job is wondering, where are you getting this from? But they are convinced that he's in the wrong, that he has sinned, and his sin is the reason that God is doing this to him. Job will not accept that. And so he says in chapter 27 that I hold fast my righteousness. Other things that Job says that are interesting. For instance, he says, look around. Have you been out much? Have you been around? Have you talked to the people that travel in other parts of the world? He says, when are the wicked ever destroyed for their wickedness? He says, no, the wicked prosper, and you've got that all wrong. It's not as simple as the evil are destroyed and the righteous are lifted up. Not in this life, not in this age. But he also says, I will hold fast my righteousness. He maintains his purity, and he will go on to do that in the book, maintaining his righteousness and purity and clinging for an opportunity to stand before God face to face and argue. And, as we will see by the end of the book, he gets that opportunity, and it may not be what he expects it to be. But we'll finish Job and finish the Old Testament completely next week. Thank you for watching this penultimate Bible reading video. Thank you.